Good morning students, welcome to the lecture of Operation Research. In today's lecture we are going to understand a next method of solving a quadratic programming problem called as Beal's method. Let us have a look to the concepts we have studied in the last lecture. In this we have studied one example of quadratic programming problem solving by Wolf method. This is an example. We have converted the inequality constraints into equations by adding the squared variables q1 square, q2 square, r1 square and r2 square. Then we have constructed a Lagrangian function, then constructed the Kuntakar conditions. Then whatever the Kuntakar conditions we have obtained, we are going to construct the modified LPP by using the Kuntakar conditions, rather introducing the artificial variables in the Kuntakar conditions obtained, and then solving this method by two-phase, solving this linear programming problem by two-phase method. While solving this by two-phase method, no doubt we have to take care of the complementary slackness condition, because actually this method involves solving by two-phase method for only the constraints which are linear equations. Therefore, those non-linear equations produced by Kuntakar conditions are taken care, like here we have explained, right? Now, whenever we are introducing a variable with most negative delta j value, then we have to check whether its corresponding pair is in the basis or not. If it is already in the basis, we cannot enter because of the conditions lambda 1 x1 equal to 0, mu 1 x1 equals to 0, and so on. I think there is no difficulty in introducing these variables by taking care of the complementary slackness condition. Rest procedure is same. We have to continue this method till we get all net evaluations are non-negative. Then whatever is the solution obtained in the last table will be the solution of linear programming problem, which in turn will be a solution of a quadratic programming problem. So this is what a methodology we have studied. Now let us come to today's lecture for understanding the Beal's method of solving the quadratic programming problem. Beal's method. Actually, in this Beal's method, we are not going to make use of any Kuntakar condition. Rather, this method depends on partitioning the variables. We are going to partition the variables into basic and non-basic variable, and we are going to use some basic aspects of differential calculus. Right? Let me just tell you what the method is actually. Before that, let us have an introduction of this mathematician Beal. Okay. Full name of this mathematician is Evelyn Martin Lansdowne. Lansdowne. B-O-W-N. The life tenure is 8 September 1928 to 23 December 1985, and he was the mathematician from United Kingdom. Instead of calling him as a mathematician, one can call him as a statistician, because many of the results are useful in statistics. Okay, therefore he has the first given the not first, he has given the method, alternative method of solving the quadratic programming problem. No doubt the method was introduced in 1959. Wolf is also introduced in the same year, 1959. Okay. Now what are the important factors of this Beal's method? Beal's method does not use Kuntakar condition. First, does not use Kuntakar condition. Second aspect is this is going to be used or involves the partitioning of the variables. Involves the partitioning of variables. Partitioning of the variables into basic and non-basic. Basic and non-basic variables. Okay, and it is going to use results of classical differential calculus. Results of classical differential calculus. Before starting the algorithm, actually, I just want to ask you a question. Whenever we have said no doubt differentiation already, Whenever a function f is differentiated with respect to a variable x, what we were finding actually, let me make it as ordinary. What we were finding actually df by dx, what is the geometrical interpretation of this derivatives? Is it rate of change?
Yes, ma'am.
This is the rate of change of f with respect to x. That is how f changes if we change the variable x. Correct now? Change in x to how the change in x will give you the change in f. Rather, it is the limiting value of this increment ratio, no? Change in f upon change in x. Okay. Just tell me if the rate of change of the function with respect to one variable, say x1, okay, if it is greater, the rate of change of a function with respect to another variable, then what this is going to suggest us? Rate of change of a function with respect to x1 is greater than rate of change of a function with respect to x2. What it is going to suggest us? What do you think? What this inequality tells us? Yes, any idea? May I say it will tell you that if a function f is differentiated with respect to x1, the rate of change in f is more than the rate of change in f if we change x2. Means which change in which variable will give us the better improvement in f? I
X1.
repeat my question. Change in which variable will give us the better improvement in f? Yes, it is in x1, no? Because the rate of change of a function f with respect to x1 is more. Okay. What will happen if rate of change of a function with respect to a variable is less than 0? What is this meaning? Rate of change of f with respect to x is less than 0. Yes? What it is giving us an idea, suppose the rate of change is the value is some equals to minus 1. What does it gives you the idea? If I change the value of x, what will be the corresponding change in f? Yes, students. If the rate of change is negative, what does it mean? Can you give an idea? Am I audible clearly?
Yes, ma'am.
May I say the rate? There is the rate of change. If f df by dx is greater than 0, what will be the value? Suppose the value is some 2. What does it imply? If I change the value of x, there will be a double change in f. Correct, na? It is going to change by twice. Rate of change is 2. दुपटीने वाढतो असं म्हणतो ना आपण. दुपटीने वाढणार आहे फंक्शन. एक्स मध्ये जर चेंज केला तर एफ मध्ये काय चेंज येणार आहे? तो चेंज दुपटीने असणार आहे, बरोबर? करेक्ट ना? The function is going to change by twice rate if I change the value of x. This is what the meaning, bro. Correct na? Therefore, what will be the nature if I write dou f by dou x is less than 0? Here the function f increases because the rate of change is greater than 0. Here what is going to happen? May I say f is going to decrease?
Yes, ma'am.
Increment in f is going to, or f is going to decrease as there is a change in the variable x. Here f is going to increase by twice rate. Okay. So here may I say f decreases as x changes. Right? And here can I say f increases as x changes. Are you getting this point? Because we are going to use this in an algorithm. And what is the meaning of dou f by df by dx is equal to 0? Yes, df by dx equal to 0. May I say there is no change in here? Correct, na? No change in here as x changes. Let us take an example of a constant function. If I take f to be a constant function and if you change the variable, whether there will be a change in f. For example, if I take f of x is equal to constant, say 3. Now change the value of x. Whether there is a change in f function, value of f?
No, ma'am.
No, there is no change. Correct, na? Therefore, the derivative 0 gives an idea there is no change in f as x changes. And if f is df by dx is greater than 0, what does it mean to us? F increases as x changes. If df by dx is less than 0, it means that f decreases because the change is negative, na? Change is negative. Therefore, it gives me the idea that f decreases as x changes. Right? This concept was used by a mathematician Beer, and he has made it the partition of the given variables into basic and non-basic. Okay, and then using this concept of rate of change, he has given the algorithm. Let us move towards the algorithm. Okay, let me just tell you a rough idea of the algorithm. We have started with the function f of x, say. Okay, then what we are going to do? Convert the constraint inequalities to equations. What we have to do? We have to convert it to equations. How to convert it to equations? No doubt we will use either slack and or oblique slack variable. Once we convert it to equations, objective function should be of nature maxima type. Constraint inequality should be converted to equations. Then partition the variables into basic and non-basic. Can anyone tell me what will be the count of number of basic variables in the general quadratic programming problem? Yes? Number of basic variables. Till now, how we have decided the number of basic variables? Let us consider the general linear programming problem f of x subject to constraints, m constraints rather, m constraints, okay, involving n original variables. How many basic variables we were considering in this situation?
N minus m.
Yes. N minus m. Is it so? I think this is equal to number of constraint, no? If you have two constraints, you are having two basic variables. You are having three constraints, there are three basic variables. So in general, if I have m constraint, then how many number of basic variables? Is there any problem with this? Number of basic variables?
No, ma'am.
Correct, na? And what about remaining? Remaining will be non-basic variables. Remaining will be non-basic variables. Okay. Now the problem what we were going to do is, first we are going to express the function here into non-basic variable. The symbol we will use for the vector giving me basic variable is xb, and which is not giving me is non-basic variable. So first we were trying to express the function in terms of non-basic variables only, then differentiate the function with respect to each non-basic variable. Differentiate the function with respect to each non-basic variable. Check the value of this derivative at remaining non-basic variable taking 0 value. Right now, what is the value of non-basic variables? 0 always. Therefore, check the nature of this partial derivative dou f by dou x n b at all x and b is equal to 0 if, see what I am saying, if at least one value is greater than 0. If at least 1k is greater than 0, Then what it is telling us, according to this criteria, dou f by dou x, df by dx is greater than 0, it will suggest the change, rather increment in x as x changes. And that is what we want. No? As the nature of my objective function is maxima type, we want an increment in the function. Therefore, this non-basic variable, if we change from the value from 0 to some non-positive, then there will be an increment in it. Therefore, if at least 1k occurs, then choose this non-basic variable or introduce as basic. Introduce this variable as basic variable. Okay. If all values are less than or equals to 0, what will happen? Dou f by dou x and b. If all the values are less than or equal to 0, what it is going to suggest us? If we change here with respect to the non-basic variable, there is no increment actually. This gives you the decrease in the value of f. Therefore, no need to introduce any non-basic to basic. No need to introduce any non-basic variable as basic. Are you getting me? We are just using the calculus, differential calculus theory with this one actually. Dou f by dou x greater than 0, f increases, change the value of x then. If it is less than 0, no need to change this x and b. Correct na? Okay. If dou f by dou x and b is greater than 0 for at least 1k, then we have to find out the value of this x and b. And then this x and b, value of x and b, let me write x and b star, is found by two aspects. The first aspect is dou f by dou x and b. Let us equate it to 0 and check the value. And second, find the value of x and b. Find the value of this non-basic variable without making present basic variable negative. Without making present basic variable negative. Without making value of, I can say. Without making value of present basic variable negative. Okay, because if we make the value of present basic variable negative, this will give us the infeasibility. Okay, therefore there are two aspects to find out the value of that non-basic variable, and once we find out two values, we have to select the minimum. Select minimum obtained from 1 and 2. Select the minimum value obtained from 1 and 2. This is what an idea of a Bill's algorithm. We will write the algorithm in detail so the idea will be clear. If you have any difficulty in this introduction, you can ask me. df by dx less than 0, f decreases. df by dx greater than 0, f increases. Equal to 0, no change. But Beals has used this aspect. That first he has converted the given function into all non-basic variable, then differentiated partially, no doubt, because we have more than one variables. Because we will go for partial derivatives. We have differentiated the function with respect to the partial variable, with respect to the non-basic variable partially, and calculated the value at all x and b equal to 0. Why x and b equals to 0? Understood, no? Because value of non-basic variable is always 0. The value of basic variable is non-negative, right? Therefore, if it gives you at least 1k, at least one variable for which the value is greater than 0, means there is a improvement in this non-basic variable will give me the increment in the function here. If df by dx and b, or dou f by dou x and b is less than 0, less than or equals to 0 for all the variables, then no need to introduce these non-basic variables as basic. Then if I introduce a non-basic into basic, arbitrary, this is just trial and error method, you have to remove one of the basic variable, then find the value of the non-basic variable by these two aspects. Dou f by dou x and b equal to 0, and find the value of this x and b without making the present basic variable negative. Okay, let me write Beals algorithm. Beal's algorithm for solving a quadratic programming problem. What is a quadratic programming problem? Let me write the format. F of x equals, maximize f of x equal to, let me write in a matrix form, cx plus half x transpose qx subject to ax equal to b, x greater equal by 0, where q is symmetric matrix. Q is a symmetric matrix. Okay, that is right. The first step tells us. Note out the first step is as usual, converting the minima problem to maximum. Convert the minimization problem into that of maxima if it is in the minimization form. And convert the inequality constraint to equations and introduce slack and oblique or surplus variables to convert inequality constraints into equations. Inequality constraint into equation. Let me go for step number 2. In step 2, now we are going to choose m basic variable. Remaining will be treated as a non-basic variable and the function. Choose. Now while selecting the basic variable, there is no specific criteria. We have to choose arbitrarily any m variables to be the basic variables. Choose arbitrarily any of m basic variables or m variables to be basic m variables as basic variables, and the remaining variables becomes non-basic. Second step. Now what we were going to do in third step? In the third step, we will write the objective function in terms of non-basic variables only. Express the objective function in terms of non-basic variables. Now while doing this, we have to use sometimes the constraint equations to convert the basic variables into non-basic variables. That we will try to understand while solving the examples itself. Okay. Next step, what I told you, we will evaluate the partial derivative of a function with respect to the non-basic variables. Evaluate the objective function as dou f by dou x n b, dou f by dou x n b, where x n b consists of non-basic variables. Now in step 5, we are going to observe the nature of this dou f by dou x and b. See the nature of dou f by dou x and b. Dou f by dou x and b at x and b equal to 0. Okay. Now there are two cases. In case 1, we will say if dou f by dou x and b is less than or equals to 0, then it shows that what it is going to show, increment in any of the non-basic variable will not give us the increment in f because the derivative, the rate of change is negative. Therefore, then it shows that optimal solution is obtained. Means there is no need to make the increment in this basic variable. Optimal solution is obtained. Now in case 2, we will consider if at least one of the partial derivative is negative, positive. If dou f by dou x and b is greater than 0 for at least one k, then that is at least one variable, then choose the maximum. Choose the maximum such that the non-basic variable to enter the basis. To enter the basis. Now why the maximum we have selected here? Now, as we have discussed at the starting, if dou f by dou x1 is greater than by, so df by dx1 is greater than by df by dx2, then which increment in which variable or change in which variable gives us the better increment in here? No doubt the part derivative which is giving us the maximum value. That's why here also, if we obtain more than one partial derivatives to be positive, then we will choose maximum among them, because that variable will give us the better improvement if we change the variable. Therefore, we will select the corresponding variable to enter the basis. Okay. And then how to select the value of that variable now? Okay. Let xr here I call. Let xr be the basic or non-basic variable which gives a non-basic variable which gives dou f by dou x and b greater than 0, then xr indicates an improvement in f of x. Okay. Next is to determine the value. Now, to determine how much xr should increase. How much xr should increase? We calculate the value of xr at which now here I'll call this is a, at which first dou f by dou x and b equal to 0. Dou f by dou x and b equal to 0, and the larger value or the largest value of xr that can be obtained without making the present basic variable negative. Present basic variable negative. Okay, then two values we will obtain, then we will select the minimum. Then choose the minimum of these two values. Why not maximum? And this minimum quantity is the value of XR, that is XR star. Then let me write the next step, number 7. Go back to step 4 and repeat it. Go back to step 4 and repeat the process. And repeat the procedure or process till an optimum basic feasible solution is obtained. And then evaluate the value of f(x). Then evaluate the value of f(x). This is what an algorithm is. Algorithm is very easy. Okay. Once we take an example, we will get the idea to be easy. Okay. So let's go for an example. There is no issue with the algorithm. As I told you, very simple trick it is. First, we will write maxima problem, constraint equalities, then select any m basic variables, and then write the objective function in terms of non-basic. Check the partial derivative of the function with respect to the non-basic variable. Find out its value at all x and b equal to 0. If all values of the partial derivative less than or equals to 0, it means there is no improvement in f possible if we increase the value of any non-basic variable. Therefore, the optimal solution is obtained. If at least one value is greater than 0, then whatever is, choose the maximum. Suppose there are two values which are giving us positive values of the partial derivatives, then choose the maximum. Then whatever xr be the basic variable for which we have obtained the f by dou x and b greater than 0, then find out the value of that xr by these two aspects. First, dou f by dou x and b equal to 0, and second, the largest value of xr that can be taken without making the present basic variable negative. Select the minimum of these two, repeat from step 4 until the solution is obtained. Let me take one example on this. Okay. First example I will take, solve by Beal's method. If in your exam, if the method is not mentioned, you can solve the problem with whichever the method is applicable. Suppose a QPP is given, and if it is not mentioned, solve by Wolf or solve by Beals, then you can use any one of the methods. Here this objective function is maximize zx equal to 4x1 plus 6x2 minus 2x1 squared minus 2x1 x2 minus 2x2 squared. The first example I will tell you by taking only one constraint. And then we will go for an example with two constraints. Sorry. Subject to x1 plus 2x2 less than or equals to 2, x1, x2 greater or equal by 0. Let us follow the process. First step is convert the problem into maximization. Here it is given already in the maximization. So let me just write directly introducing the slack variable. Now we have only one constraint, that too in the less equal form. Therefore, let me add the slack variable x3 to convert this to constraint, right? Let me write introducing slack variable x3. We get what get? Our problem becomes written. Let me write whole problem again. Maximize zx is equal to 4x1 plus 6x2 minus 2x1 square minus 2x1 x2 minus 2x2 square subject to x1 plus 2x2. Let me add x3 new variable and is equal to 2 when all the variables are non-negative. All the variables are non-negative. Okay, first step we have completed. Now the time is to select the basic variable. How many basic variables I can select? Yes, as there is only one constraint, how many basic variables do we have?
1.
1.
Only one. Therefore, there are three options with us, x1, x2, x3. Let me select x1 to be the basic variable. Selecting. No specific criteria for selecting the basic variable. Here we will write selecting x1 arbitrarily. To be the basic variable. Okay. Then what about the remaining? What is my xb? Vector x1. What about my non-basic variable vector? There are total 3. One we have selected to be basic, therefore the remaining 2 becomes non-basic variable. Okay. Now the next step is actually to make objective function we have to write in terms of non-basic variable. Therefore, what are the non-basic variable x2, x3? Means we have to express this objective function totally in terms of x2 and x3. That is, anyhow we have to remove this x1, right? Now, in order to remove this x1 or writing x1 in terms of x2 and x3, we will take the help of this constraint equality. Okay. Therefore, how can I write x1 as 2 minus 2x2 minus x3. Correct, no? I have written the basic variable in terms of non-basic and then I will substitute in the objective function. Therefore, let me write the third step. Express zx in terms of zx or f I can write. Here let me write f of x. F or z. Because here we have used the notation dou f by dou x and v, no? That's why I have written it as f. Express zx or f in terms of yes, x and b, non-basic variables. Therefore, what I have to write? I have to write f in terms of x2 and x3 only. Okay. First term 4x1. What we will do? We will replace this x1 by 2 minus 2x3 minus x3. 2 minus 2x2 minus x3. Okay. So this is 4 times. 4x1 is there, na? 4 times 2 minus 2x2 minus x3. Next term is 6x2 as it is because x2 is the non-basic variable. Minus 2x1 square is there. So let me write x1 as 2 minus 2x2 minus x3 bracket square. Next is minus 2x1 x2. x1 I will write 2 minus 2x2 minus x3 into x2 as it is. And lastly this is minus 2x2 square. Okay. Therefore, we have expressed f in terms of non-basic variables. Any difficulty up to this? In order to write f in terms of non-basic variable, we have made use of the constraint equation. Okay. What is the next step now? Yes, students, next step. Let us look at the algorithm. evaluate objective function as dou f by dou x in b. Then see the nature of dou f by dou x in b means first we'll find the partial derivative with respect to both the variables. Correct? So here is the objective function we have. Let us find the partial derivative. Okay, let us find the partial derivative. First, let me find the partial derivative with respect to x2. Yes, tell me the partial derivative with respect to x2 now. Or as it is. Students, am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Partial derivative with respect to x2. 4 into
Minus 2
minus 2 plus
plus
6.
6.
Next, we have to differentiate this third term with respect to x2. This is the squared form. Therefore, shall I write 2 into 2 times 2 minus 2x2 minus x3 into minus 2. Right? No?
Yes, ma'am.
Then here we want to differentiate with respect to x2. As it is in the product, let me multiply by x2 to the bracket and let me write the partial derivative. What will be the first term if I multiply by 2x2 to the bracket? First term will be 2x2. Partial derivative is 2. Then minus 2x2 square. What will be partial derivative for x2?
Yes, ma'am.
Then minus x2 x3, this gives me minus x3. And last this is again 4 x2. Is it okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Now the next job is we will find out that is dou f by dou x2 at x and b 0. Right now putting all the values of non-basic variable 0. Where I have written dou f by dou x and b at x and b equal to 0. What are the basic variables here? X2 and x3. Therefore, let us just find out the value of this dou f by dou x2 by putting both the non-basic variable x2 and x3 at 0. Right now, value of x2 and x3 is 0 now, as they are not basic variables. Check me the value and tell me the answer. First is minus 8 plus 6. How much is this? Minus minus becomes as plus. 2 to the 4, 4 to the 8. Into, if I put this 0, it is 2. Minus 2 into 2, this one will be 0. How much is the value? Minus 8 plus 6 plus 16
10, ma'am.
minus 4, this is 10. 10 means greater than 0, correct? 10 means
Yes, ma'am.
greater than 0. Let me call it as equation number 1. The first partial derivative with respect to x2, putting the value of non-basic variable 0 gives us the value 10, which is positive. It suggests that if we increase the value of x2, it will give us the increment in f. Rather, it's a 10 times increment, right? No? Same thing we will perform for dou f by dou x3. Alright, okay, then. What is dou f by dou x3 for first term? 4 into minus 1. Minus 4. Next term. 6x to 0. Here it is minus 2 into 2 times I have to write. Minus 2 into 2 times 2 minus 2x2 minus x3 into my derivative of x3, na? That is minus 1. Next, what for this? Again, if we multiply by x2, this is 0. Partial derivative of first term 0, second term 0. Third term derivative is minus x2. Minus 2 into minus x2. Correct, no? And last term gives me the derivative 0. Is that okay? If I am going wrong somewhere, you can just tell me. The next step, you have to find out the value of dou f by dou x3 by putting non-basic variable x2 equal to x3 equal to 0. How much is the value? Minus 4. This negative, if I write, this is plus 4 into 2, na? Plus 2 into 0 it is. Therefore, the value is 8 minus 4, it is 4. This is also positive. Let me call it as statement number 2. So for which variable we will select in order to introduce as the basic variable? Change in x2 will give me 10 times change in here. Change in x3 gives me 4 times. Rate of change is 4. For which we were going to select? Yes, which variable should be selected to introduce in the basic? समजते का मेथड सगळ्यांना का नाही समजली?
Yes, ma'am.
समजते मग कुठला व्हेरिएबल इंट्रोड्यूस करणार आपण इथे?
जो मॅक्झिमम आहे तो.
जो मॅक्सिमम आहे म्हणजे x2 बरोबर मी जर चेंज केला तर तो f मध्ये इन्क्रीमेंट जास्त देतो ना आणि x3 मध्ये चेंज केला तर तो कमी देतो. As this partial derivative, what should I do? Select maximum, no? So for which variable should I select as the basic variable?
X2.
Because shall I write? Increase in x2 gives better improvement in the objective function, right? No? Better improvement in the objective function. Okay, therefore select or introduce x2 as basic variable. Okay, next step we will find the value of x2. Now x2 becomes basic. Now we have to find out its value. Let me write this as third step. Find value of x2. There are two aspects told to us in the algorithm to find the value of that non-basic variable. First, dou f by dou x will be 0 and the largest value of that xr can be obtained without making present basic variable negative. Now what is the present basic variable? X1, no? Initially we have selected x1 to be the basic variable. Without making x1 negative, we have to find out the value. Therefore here, let me use the first aspect. Okay, to find the value of x2, what I will do? I will put dou f by dou x2 equal to 0. How much is dou f by dou x2 we have obtained? We have not simplified it, no? And can simplify here also. Simplify and tell me how much is the value. Minus 8 plus 6 minus 2 plus 8 times 2 minus 2x2 minus x3. I forgot to simplify actually. Then minus 4 plus 8x2 plus 2x3 minus 4x2. Okay, how much is the value then? Let me write somewhere here. Check constant term. Minus 2 plus 16 minus 4. Minus 2 minus 4 minus 6 plus 16. Minus 6 plus 16 is 10. Then tell me the coefficients of x2. Minus 16 minus 4, this is minus 20 plus 8. Minus 12 x2. x3 minus 8 plus 2. Check is the value correct or not. 10 minus 12 x2. minus 6x. Okay. If it is so, n minus 2x2 or 12x2, n minus 12x2 minus 6x. Okay. Again, we have to put the non-basic variable x3 0. How much is the value then? 10 minus 12x2 equal to 0. Therefore, x2 is 10 upon 12, 5 by 6. Right? Next, B. What the second criteria tells us? Without making present basic variable negative. What is the value of your present basic variable? x1 minus 2x2 minus x3. Right now? Okay. Now tell me the value of x2. How much it can take without making x1 negative, and no doubt at x3 equal to 0 because x3 is still negative, non-basic. Therefore, here can I write this x1 as 2 minus 2x2. Okay. For which value of x2? For which value of x2, x1 becomes negative? Students, if you are there, you have to answer me. For which value of x2, x1 becomes negative? For which value of x2, x1 becomes 0?
1. 1.
For 1, it becomes 0. If I take greater than 1, what will happen?
It becomes negative.
Yes. Therefore, what is the maximum value of x2 can take without making x1 negative?
1.
Hmm? Yes. Equal to 1 without making x1 negative. Right now? Here in a bracket, if I write for x2 greater than 1, x1 becomes negative. If I select x2 greater than 1, x1 becomes negative. So what is the value I am going to take? x2 as 1. Now from two different aspects, we have obtained two different values. And what algorithm says? Then value of x2 is minimum. Value of x2, we will write x2 star. This is minimum among both the values. First gives me the value 5 by 6, second aspect gives me the value 1. And which is the minimum then? Which is the minimum? 5 by 6, no?
5 by 6.
Therefore, the value of x2 is 5 by 6 and is the basic variable value. Okay. Now the function, now the step changes actually. Now x2 is my basic variable. Now what are the non-basic variables? What are the non-basic variables? x1 and x3 are the non-basic variables, right? No? Are you getting me or not?
Yes, ma'am.
Now for this iteration, basic variable is x2. What are the non-basic variables? x1 and x3. Now we have to repeat the process. What the process says? Express the objective function in terms of non-basic variables. So what is the constant equality we have with us? x1 plus 2x2 plus x3 equals to 2. Now we want to write the objective function in terms of x1 and x3. Therefore, here we have to find out the value of x2 in terms of x1 and x3, and that is half times 2 minus x1 minus x3. Is that clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Now express the objective function in terms of x1 and x3. Right? What is the objective function? Let me write it again. Original objective function I will write 4x1 plus 6x2 minus 2x1 square minus 2x1 x2 minus 2x2 square. Now we want to express in terms of x1 and x3. So for which variable we want to replace? X2 we want to replace. So the objective function is now in terms of x1, x3, 4x1 as it is, 6x2 I have to substitute, x2 is with half. Therefore may I write this is 3, 2 minus x1 minus x3 minus, again how much is the value? X1 square is 1 by 4, 1 by 4 into 2, it's 1 by 2 na? Minus नहीं थी मैडम बोलना, minus, now 2x1 I will substitute, 2x2 I will substitute as this one. Therefore this is x1 into 2 minus x1 minus x3, again minus 2 x2 square. X2 square is again 1 by 4, right? This is 2 minus x1 minus x3 bracket. Here I can write half again, na? Half. Okay, let us do the process. Let us differentiate with respect to x1 first. This is 4 plus 3 into minus 1. Now it's a square. Therefore what I will do? This is 2 times 2 minus x1 minus x3 into minus 1. Let me absorb the negative. Minus. Let us multiply by x1 to the bracket and let us have a differentiation. The first derivative gives me 2 minus x1 square is 2x1 minus x3. Here now I will write plus half. Again this is 2 times 2 minus x1 minus x3 into the derivative of x1 is minus 1. First we will simplify and then we will put the value of non-basic variables here. 4 minus x is 1 plus 2 minus x1 minus x3. Let us absorb the negative, minus 2 plus 2x1 plus x3. This half and 2 will get cancelled. With the negative sign, this gives me minus 2 plus x1 plus x3. Tell me the constant value. 1 plus 2 minus 2 cancels. 1 minus 2, this is minus 1. Correct, na?
Yes, ma'am.
What about constant x1? Sorry, coefficient of x1 minus 1 plus 2 plus x1 plus x1 plus x1 plus x1. Check whether we have made a mistake or not. Check the derivative first. Minus x1 minus x2 is it cancelled? Minus x2 minus x3 minus 2 x1 negative plus 2x1 plus x3 plus 2 also difference. Multiply the negative minus 2 minus x1 minus x3. Here it was given minus 3x1. Okay, I'm checking again. We left with 2x1 only, no? X minus x1 plus x1 cancel. We left with 2x. And here we have one more, no? 1 minus x1 take value plus. Let us check. What about x3? Plus x3 minus x3 cancel. Here it is. Plus x3. You can check it afterwards also. Okay? Check the derivatives. If somewhere the calculation goes on wrong, you can correct me afterwards also. Then what is the value of dou f by dou x1 at the non-basic variables x2 equal to x3 equal to 0? No, it has to be positive actually. One, because this is now we are going to introduce as x1 and we are going to find the value of x2 star. Did I have written objective function correctly? 4x1 plus 6x2 minus 2x1 square minus 2x1 minus 2x minus 2x square. x1 plus 2x plus 6 equal to 2. X plus 2 minus x1 minus 6. One, 2 into 1 by 4x, 1 by 2, 2 minus 6, 1 minus x 3. Either you are getting a mistake somewhere. So please check this value. Actually, here it should be. Please check it afterwards. This is 1 minus 3x1. I will also check later. Okay. So the value here we will get as 1. Okay. No, there is a mistake. You please check the value. I will also check later. Similarly, the second derivative is found with respect to x3 as well. Dou f by dou x3, and we will get the value as minus 1 minus x3. You can do this also. For dou f by dou x3 at x2 equal to x3 equal to 0 gives us minus 1. Now here if we check, this is positive, this is negative. Therefore increment in x1 give us a better improvement in here. Therefore now we will find out the value of x1. This indicates x1 can be introduced to increase f of x. Now we will check the value of x1. F5. Find the value of x1. Which are the two criteria we were using? Dou f by dou x1 equal to 0. Okay. What is dou f by dou x1? 1 minus 3x1 equal to 0. Therefore, here we were getting x1 as 1 by 3. Next, without making present basic variable negative, right? Therefore, this is x2 equal to 1 by 2, 1 minus x1 minus x3. No? 2 minus x1. x2 is half 2 minus x1. Okay, now what is the maximum value of x3, x1 can take? Let me put x3 0. Therefore, x2 equal to half 2 minus x1. What is the maximum value of x1 can take without making x2 negative? Instead of thinking directly on negative, you can find out the value of x1 for which x2 becomes 0. x1 equal to 2 is the value for which x2 becomes 0. Therefore, if we take greater than 2, x2 becomes negative. Therefore, the value of x1 is 2. So, value of x1 is equal to 2 without making x1 negative. Right now, therefore, two values we have obtained. x1 is 2 and x1 is 1 by 3. Right? So, what is the value of x1 star? Minimum we have to select. Minimum 1 by 3 and 2, and this is 1 by 3. Now x1, x2 we have introduced in the basic, found the value in the previous equation. Then x1 we have introduced, found the value of x1. What about x3? Third variable remains. But if you observe dou f by dou x3 is negative, therefore increment in x3 will not give us any increment in here. Therefore here we will stop the process. Thus the optimal solution is x1 star is 1 by 3, x2 star is 5 by 6, and if you find out the value of zx at this point, you just substitute the values of the variables x1, x2 in the objective function, it will give us 25 by 6, and this is what the optimal solution is. This is what we have completed the example. If you have any difficulty on this example, you can ask me. This part we will check. You also cross check. I will also do the same. Yes, any difficulty up to this? If not, let me stop for today. Thank you for being with me for this lecture.